Hi, my name is Jessica. My son was stillborn at 31 weeks due to COVID-induced CHI. His name was Jacob. So this letter was written for Jacob for his funeral, which was read at his funeral about 9 months ago. I'm going to read a letter that we wrote to Jacob for his funeral. Dear our little angel Jacob, you were born sleeping as you were too beautiful for earth. You were planted on earth but are blooming in heaven. Your heart only beat under your mummy's. You being taken from us has hurt our souls. We will always have a hole in our hearts where you belong. You had a short life, but you still lived. You lived from conception, and there are a few weeks when we didn't even know about you yet. You came with us to Cornwall on holiday and celebrated Mum's birthday in the park before we knew you existed. We found out about you in June and were so excited straight away. We went for brunch and were discussing names and plans already. Your mama was nervous, but Daddy was so excited. You were only the size of a sesame seed back then. Mama took photos once a week of you in her belly with a fruit as you grew. Our last photo was week 30, where you were the size of a cabbage. You then went with Mama and your gran and granddad to Wales. We even climbed Mount Snowdon together. You visited our new house. We were planning your room and are heartbroken you will not be with us to fill it. You were at some weddings and lots of friends were rubbing Mummy's tummy, excited for your arrival. You listened to music loudly with Mama in the car and seemed to like her Polish songs as you were kicking away during them. Your kicks were sometimes so strong, you were a growing little footballer or boxer. You travelled to Poland and met all your family there. They all love and miss you already too. You were at your Nana Neri's 60th birthday, where you met more family who love you dearly. For Halloween, you were dressed as a unicorn with Mama. And finally, you had some Christmas fun going to Christmas shows. When you were born, the silence was the loudest thing we ever heard. We never heard you cry or laugh. We never got to look into your eyes. You were perfect, pure, and innocent. The 14th of December was a sad day, but it was also the best day of our lives as we got to finally meet you. We will forever treasure the time we had with you inside Mummy's belly and when you were born. We held you, dressed you, cuddled you, and kissed you all over. Mummy sang to you and read a book to you. You looked like a sleeping baby. These memories will be forever treasured in our hearts. You will always be our favourite what if. We had so many plans for you. Your whole life was mapped out. You were born quite big, especially your feet, and had dark hair, so we think you would have been tall, dark, and handsome. You will always be our firstborn, our precious tiny angel in heaven. Only the most special are given wings. You have lots of family up there to look after you, and we're sure you're having lots of fun and watching over us. You will forever be our darling child, our boy, and any brothers and sisters will always know and remember you. We will never forget you, and our hearts will always ache for you. We feel you everywhere, all around us, in the wind and rain. We hear you in the birds chirping and see you in rainbows and stars. And we know you're with us each night, lying next to us on our pillow. We love you always and forever, our beautiful, precious child. Love, your mama and daddy. Since burying Jacob 9 months ago, here are some thoughts about my grief process since. At first, after Jacob was born, I really didn't know what to think or feel. This pain felt so deep, but I thought I was meant to brush myself off and move on as soon as possible. But I just couldn't. I had no one to speak to who had been through this. I found comfort in podcasts like this and reading other people's stories online. I wish someone told me what I am feeling is okay and normal. I had to come to that realization myself, and that was mainly through social media accounts and making friends within the baby loss community. I also had some counseling which helped. So my advice to myself right after Jacob died would be just to allow yourself to feel and do what feels right. Don't worry about being judged. I wanted to do so many things when I had children. I planned to do birth announcements. I planned to get a ring representing each child, like a push present. So a blue sapphire for a boy, a ruby for a girl, an emerald for another boy, and I didn't quite choose what a second girl would be. Well, when Jacob died, I thought that's it. But I quickly realized that Jacob is still my son, still my loved and cherished child. So I decided I will still do the things I would have done if he lived. So I got myself a push present. I made birth announcements. I made photo albums and videos of Jacob's life. So that includes him inside my belly and after he was born. I framed lots of photos of him and have them around the house. I'm still a mother and tell people that. Jacob will always be included in our family. For example, at Christmas, he will have his own stocking. We will have a candle and a picture of him on the table with us. He is so important to me, and I'm trying my best to incorporate him into our lives. I feel like it's my responsibility to do this as family and friends don't know what to do. I understand why. They haven't experienced baby loss, and people are scared to speak openly about death and loss. That is why I need to tell people what I want from them. For Jacob's birthday, I will send a message around to family and friends about how we want them to celebrate Jacob's birthday with us, like sending a card, donating to a charity, or lighting a candle. I did struggle in the early days when seeing someone and them not mentioning Jacob. I understand people don't know what to say. They may have messaged when it all happened, but then not acknowledging him face to face was so hard. It made me feel like he never existed. So I've decided that I must be the strong one and bring Jacob into the conversation myself. It's the only way to teach friends and family this. I do find it hard sometimes, as I am quite shy, but I am Jacob's mama, so I need to be strong and stand up for him. After Jacob died, I saw friends from maybe about 3 weeks after. I thought it's best to just see people to get the awkwardness over and done with. I saw a few friends, but then didn't see people for a while. I really didn't feel like living at all for a while. I wasn't interested in going out, socializing, drinking, and partying like I used to. I didn't even want to go on holiday. Looking at people's social media of partying and holidaying just didn't bring up any FOMO for me like it used to. Then suddenly summer hit and weddings started happening. We decided that we cannot go to them. The anxiety around them and seeing so many people for the first time was too much for me. So during my grief, I did become more selfish and chose to do the things that I knew I needed rather than things to please others. I think when your baby dies, it's okay to be selfish. When I did see people, I was faking being okay. I didn't know what to say when people asked how I am, so just said I'm okay. But I really wasn't. And then after I felt guilty if I seemed too okay to outsiders, I decided to stop pretending and try to tell people how I really feel. Physically, though, I was okay. I was able to function, get out of bed, brush my teeth, exercise. I am a routine girl, and this autopilot mode helped me through. Again, I felt guilty at how okay I was, especially after reading other people's accounts online, how depressed they are. Of course, I was aching inside and cried every day, but I still managed to function. My counselor helped me realize that however grief looks, it's okay. So, my advice to someone would be to not compare yourself to others in grief. Everyone grieves differently, and that includes your partner who is on a different journey to you. Some things I do for Jacob. Every Sunday and Tuesday, I light his candle, as that's the day he died and day he was born, respectively. I write letters to Jacob in a special notebook, which I keep in his memory box. I donate to a charity on special days like his monthly birthday, my birthday, Easter, etc. I love going to visit him at the cemetery where I light candles, sing to him, read to him, and just chat to him. I have a social media account where I remember him and talk about my grief. I feel like I'm honouring him by sharing my story. Losing a child is probably the hardest thing I will ever go through. I did think, what is the point in life after Jacob died? The only important thing to me was being a mother to a living child. I have the hope of that now, being pregnant with my rainbow. I am seeing a light in the darkness. I want to cherish life more now as Jacob wasn't given that chance. So I have to live life to the full for the both of us. And I know one day I will be reunited with my son again.